Hello everyone. So I wanted to just make a quick video going over the idea of map control and applying it to your games to win more consistently, or at least have a better understanding of why you are doing what you're doing within the game, pretty much. So like it's like chess, having openings in chess. You develop strategy and you move around the map differently, and you start seeing it in a mindset where you're looking to control your win, pretty much. So here we go. I'm using Mirage on Counter-Strike 2 as an example. Here's the T spawn. Here's the CT spawn. So I'm primarily going to talk about this idea from the perspective of the Ts, but the CTs are naturally already in control of the map. They defend the A bomb site and they defend the B bomb site. So here's B, here's A. And first I'll go over like a standard Mirage setup. So usually gun round, you're buying rifles. One will play connector, one is going to play around site, and these people can play anywhere on site. The connector person can help fight mid, they can hold stairs, they can hold ramp, they can hold palace. Then this person's kind of like the anchor. Either or works, I guess. But they move around, and then typically there's just one B player. They'll usually just be watching apps, and then there will be one player on cat, and then of course, oops, this is window, and then one person in window. This is typically like the fundamental setup that you'll be seeing in most of your games. Probably all of them. This is just how people play the map. It's the most balanced way you cover everything. And then of course, like, not every person is static. You can move around. You could, hold apps from a different angle. Keep moving around. Sit on here. Take space here. But anyways, I'll just go back to looking at it from a T side perspective. So on attack, a good way to, this goes for solo queuing and team play, calling for control of the map. You want to take control of areas of the map, and that could be your starting point to the round. Like, maybe you don't know what to call. You can be like, let's take control of mid and B. Or it could be like a more solo play. This is more typically you'll see from like a lurker, where someone will call, or maybe you just say to yourself, you don't tell your team, maybe your team isn't listening, there's no communication, you're solo queue. So you have to try to make plays for yourself because the coordination is not there entirely. And then even something like push to talk is another hindrance to being able to effectively communicate to your teammates on how you want to play, because some of these decisions need to be made in split seconds, and that split second that you use to push to talk to calm, the window of timing is now gone, and if you follow through on that play, you might die or end up in a worse position than if you did something else. So anyways, so you can call something like, for yourself, if like you don't want to communicate with your team, just keep in mind like, okay, this round I'm going to take control of B apartments. So on T side, you spawn, you're going through. When you get here, you could start walking. Walk up. Watch and see what the enemies do. Do they smoke this? Is there smoke? Do they throw molly? How fast do they throw it? Just read what they're doing and then react based off that. The smoke fades, you continue walking up. You start seeing angles from apps. You can see here. Someone could be playing in apps. They could also be playing truck. They could also be jump spotting like here. And this is what you're looking for. You're looking for a frag. You're waiting for your opponent to make a mistake, and then you capitalize on it. And then from there, you can start calming to your team, like, let's go B. You can start taking more space. You kill the person on B, and now you know this guy is rotating back to B to help his teammate. And then your teammates could start moving in from like mid if you take the B player, because now you know that the cat player is probably rotating back to B to help, and then someone from con could be pushing up, and then you're just looking for these fights and you just keep pushing and pushing. But again, it's about controlling the map. It's just a fundamental way to look at the map, so you always kind of have a plan in mind rather than like letting the enemies control the pace of the game. If you just simplify something and you think about it like, we need control of the map, and then once we gain control of this area, we can start advancing and gaining control of the next area. So something like, maybe you don't want to execute A, or you don't have lineups, or your team doesn't have lineups. You all can't throw util to smoke like stairs, CT. So you can just be like, either calm to your team, let's take control of palace and ramp, or you could just do it yourself and keep it in mind and be like, okay, this round I'm going to take control of ramp and see what happens, and see how my enemies are positioned, what utility they use, and then this information can be relayed or kept in mind for the next rounds on how you approach it. So like, if you take control of ramp like 3 rounds in a row, and then you can also call for your team like, let's take control of ramp and palace. Just watch for the util, watch what they do, listen for footsteps, listen for them to reposition, use util, like maybe you take control of ramp, someone's not playing stairs, so you can push in, take control of Tetris. Now you have a lot more space to work with. You can throw a molly off here, get molly underneath palace, and then you either can get a kill, get damage, or force the CT to run out from underneath palace, and then you have an easier time getting the kill because you mollied him and you put pressure on him. So that's another thing, is when you're taking control of areas, you're also applying pressure onto the enemy team to see how they react to things. So like, when you're putting pressure on ramp with utility, you're forcing your opponent to move or react, and now you're putting pressure on them, and this pressure that is happening from ramp could be utilized more effectively by someone in palace, because now if the person on ramp spots someone on stairs and then the person in palace peeks, the person on stairs could be more focused on the person on ramp, so then the person in palace has an easier time getting the kill on stairs. You can do this in every round, in every game that you play. It's like just a baseline of a mindset to go into these games where you aren't confused and you have more opportunities to control the pace of the game. You want the game to be played in your favor. You want to always be aware of your enemy's positions. You want to force your enemies into certain positions, so when you are going through the map, you know where the enemies are and where you're pushing them towards, because essentially you want to push them into your crosshair. You want them to walk into your crosshair to kill them, and that's the name of the game. You can keep applying these ideas every round, and then like just using it to your advantage, or just having a way to move around the map that isn't mindless or brainless, thoughtless. You're being mindful, and it's a very simple concept because there's just important parts of the map that need to be controlled. Like mid control is huge. Look at how much of the map mid takes up, and look at all the positions that enemies can play. Once you take control of mid, from here you can start setting up where you want to go way easier, because say there's one on cat and one on window, you can isolate these fights and try to get a pick. And then from there, say you killed the cat player, you can start taking cat and now look for window, and you could start like advancing towards B. Or you can keep taking space up mid, and then you smoke off cat, and you know one person is in window, so that means there's one person on A, probably two people on A, and then you have 5 pushing up through con, or maybe 1 or 2 coming from ramp. It's like an A split, but you went in with the idea of just taking control of mid and then playing off the control that you take of the map and denying the CT space. You know, like every place that you are not, the CTs could be advancing. So now I'm going to go over like the same concepts on CT. Sometimes it is good to be aggressive. Like if you're the B player, maybe this round you keep it in mind. You say, I'm taking control of apps. I'm denying them this space, and my team can now lean more towards mid and A and not have to worry about B apps at all. So then like the cat player does not have to be thinking about like, oh, I gotta help my teammate on B. Not really, because now the CT is taking all of the apps, and they can start seeing here, they can start taking fights. Maybe they do die, but since the CT are, maybe the person that, or you, if you took the space apps and you die without killing anyone or, you know, stalling for that long, it's still, since you took this space, now the enemy is going to be, they might rush, but it still might take them longer. And now like the cat player could rotate, like beat them to the rotation because you took all this space initially. And now, you know, it's just, these concepts can be applied on both sides. And then another example for CT, like the A player. The A player this round could be like, okay, I want to take control of Palace. So then they push. I'm taking Palace. Now my ramp player does not have to worry about Palace at all because it's under full control of, you know, a teammate. So now like his full focus could be on ramp, or he could also help mid. And then another example, like whoever's playing con can be like, I'm going to take control of mid this round. You know, there's this smoke that you can throw right at the base of con, which is huge on CT. You push down, you can push around your smoke, and then this isolates the underfight for you. You know, you could flash for yourself, your teammate could maybe jump out a window, and then you both fight con. Or you could also play around the smoke. You know, you could jump on bench, see over, see right here, you know, fight. It's just, you always want to make sure, maybe not always, but it's a way to look at the game differently. And I know everyone is like doing this probably naturally or instinctively they don't think about it, but if you push it to the front and you consciously think about controlling the map and telling yourself like, this round, this is the area of the map that I want to control, and I want to deny my enemy from taking over or having, you know, like instead of them having control of it, you take the control, and then you set the pace of the game for you and your team. You know, you can always control the entire victory. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This concept, again, applies to both Valorant and Counter-Strike. It's map control. It's a fundamental way of looking at the game. Most people probably are doing it subconsciously, or it's aware. I'm not a pro. It's just something I just want to give a perspective on the game that could bring a, you know, maybe you're plateaued and you're like, oh, I haven't simplified these concepts before to really capitalize on them. I'm going to now think about it more in my next games, because maybe I haven't been playing well, or I've been feeling lost while I go through the maps, or I'm getting frustrated or tilted and I don't have plays to make. And then, of course, like, complementing this mindset with utility executes, like, you could take control of A. Like, executing A is taking control of A, and then you could, like, wait outside A, maybe they smoke ramp, call it to your team. Hey, they smoked ramp, let's execute in 10 seconds. And then once the smoke fades, all the util lines you're pushing out, flashing over, and now you've taken control of A. And the same thing, you could coordinate to your teammate on A and say, on CT, and be like, let's take control of ramp this round. You both fight ramp, you molly it, you flash. You could kill all 5 in 10 seconds with a coordinated push. So that is pretty much the end of the video. I just wanted to keep it short. It was a concept that I kind of didn't think too much about, but then I realized it could be a good video idea and help some people out. So hope you enjoyed. Hope it makes sense. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. Peace.